Many of you know I've been working in the arts for a long time, over 15, 20 years now, in different capacities. I'm wearing the National Youth Orchestra things here. That's one of the jackets we got when I was running the youth orchestra. So Ronel knows about my cries and my complaints. When we first started, it was broke and nobody knew what this nonsense was and who does it report to. So I just got called in and we did it. We put it where it's supposed to be. I think it's continuing now as a national institution. But one of the things I learned already there, over and above all the other spaces, is how hard it is to actually be in the arts. It's very good to be an artist performing without money and all of that for fun, because then you're taking it as just something that's fun that you're doing. It's a hobby, right? And it's quite fun when you are a listener and you are listening, you're paying attention to music, and like I've been doing the whole morning. What's not nice, and which I learned now working in the arts as an arts administrator and supporting artists and where arts can help us, is realizing it's very difficult for artists to get to give us the gifts that they give us in terms of music, in terms of art, in terms of visuals and all of that. And one of the things that make it difficult is our history. Post-94 compared to pre-94, the world of arts is very different. Pre-94, a lot of the arts were funded. They were a national product that was taken care of by the government, but it was also supporting the few people, while most members of the population were there to see for themselves in the townships, in other spaces of the country. So the landscape changed quite immensely in 1994, because now we had to figure out, in economics, they talk about externalities. How do we deal with this externality, which is called art? I have a lot to say, but I won't say about the psychology of it and how it makes sense to me why we are here. But we are here because technically we were not ready to work with arts as a product. And all of us are part of a history that is there, that says we've been enjoying and consuming the art as observers of the art. But we actually, when you now work with it as a product that you're bringing into the market, it's hard for an artist. I didn't know this, and many artists knew, but I didn't. So that's one of the reasons why we are sitting here today, is because I learned it is very hard to be an artist. And how can we make life much easier and transform the creative sector in a way that it's supposed to. So we are part of the journey. Two, one of the biggest challenges at the sub-level, it's probably not two, but it's a subset. One of the biggest challenges for artists and the creative sector in this country is that mindset of artists themselves in terms of how they think about the art and their work. I believe, and I will be castigated for this, but every time I check it with everyone, everybody agrees, but we don't necessarily agree in a public forum that this is the truth, which is the infantilization of the artist and their projective identification of it. So many artists act as if they are still in pre-94, in a pre-94 era, where there are infants being taken care of by some gentle serving state. And there's a nice English word that escapes me now, but this is an uncle who is ready to give money. If they don't give you money, you throw a tantrum. And we are not there. And I think there's a mindset that we need to be working with as for artists in terms of helping them to deconstruct the world as it is, which leads then to the last piece, which is how then can you make money from art as an economic commercial product. And I find it very difficult. I found it very difficult so far to be working in the sector, which looks like what I've described, and also then artists then struggling to convert this product into something that's economic. So I always say my mission in the arts is to help artists eat from their art. And that's essentially what lies behind the Artists Bank as the three objectives of my mission for doing it. Yeah. It is essentially how do we enable the creative sector? How do we further enable the creative sector beyond what is currently available to contribute to the transformation or the continuous transformation of the creative sector? And one of the ways we can do it is essentially create a bank that is run by artists, for artists, in aid of the creative sector. So, and lastly, then there's a government framework. So leveraging on a government framework that exists, which is the cooperative banking framework, to essentially do that. And the people are in this room. We are essentially really just messengers. We've taken it upon ourselves. Nobody told us. Nobody instructed us to do it. We are all, many of us are artists. Many of us love art, are the lovers of the art. Many of us are patrons of the art. And as a result, we are coming with that need. So in October, we kind of put this together, and it felt like there was a lot of alignment in the room, and it would be good to hear what everybody has to say, Krista, to add to what I'm saying. But we kind of got into a sense that, yeah, we agree that that's mostly the picture, and then there was obviously other layers of the end. And we agree that this is something that's needed. And we agree that we want to be part of the journey towards creating it using the CBDA. So Oral is not here. He is essentially the guru in terms of the financial sector framework that would help us to do that. So all along, what we've been doing since October up to now is then fulfilling. So for me, as I see it, there's two parts to the journey. There's the operationalization part, but then there's the envisioning part. They're continuously living the vision and bringing the vision to life. But there's then the part around creating the operational structures to continue to do it using that national framework. And what we've been focusing on since October last year up to now, September 2021, is the operationalization framework to make sure that we are compliant, to make sure that we are ready to be structured. We get a tick from the Prudential Authority that says, you guys are a bank, go forth and do what you need to do. So one of the things then, where we are now, is that we are at the interface where the two starts to meet. That's how I see it. I see now these two rivers are coming together now, where living the vision and the operationalization are coming together, because in many ways, thanks to Ziona, thanks to Rev, thanks to Kuman and different people in different ways and oral and all of that, we kind of got into a space where if tomorrow we wanted to, minus the requirement for us to have 200 clients, we are running a bank. We have already some of the capital that's sitting in the account. We have a foundation, an arts foundation that we created as in support of the bank itself. So technically, we have two institutions that are running neck to neck with each other, but that's also as a result of the legislation, because the legislation required us to have some money put somewhere. That then when we get to this part, when we finish this piece that we are doing and we are able to get 100 people, I never really know whether it's 200 people and 100,000 or 100 people and 200,000. I think it's 100,000 to get to the point where we are going to now get the capital of 100,000 and invite people in as shareholders, not necessarily as customers. We are ready. And this is where we got stuck. We got stuck because now we have to go and talk to people, but it felt like we are speaking. It wasn't even, actually, that's not true. It felt like there was a need to go. We don't know what to say, actually. We know what to say, but maybe we're not on the same page. Can we talk and figure out how do we go it? Because I'm afraid I want to say the same things. I mean, I don't want to go into the history around what happened with the board member and all of that. That was an instigating moment, but it instigated an awareness that said, you know, maybe if we get to this, if we have this already with an internal person that's supposed to help us and is already understanding marketing, maybe we need to take a step back and figure out, do we know what we are doing and what are we going to say? And that's where we are right now. So that's my very summary of why we are here.